Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Kellz back at you again with another episode of the Culture Marauders podcast, the show where we maraud on all culture and deliver the goods to you, the masses. I know this is a very awkward format that we have right now, but due to our technical limitations, this is what we're going to rock with today. So, hey, it's Saturday, August 8th, 2020. We are officially in the dog days of summer. Appreciate y'all dropping in tonight and, just want to hang out with us. So, we're going to go ahead and get into it. We got a really, really dope show with y'all or for y'all tonight. And, something that we've been looking to do. We're getting close to the end of the season of the first season of the Culture Marauders podcast. And we're trying to go out with a bang. So, before we get into it, I like to drop a little culture shot on you as I always do. So today in history, today is the day that President Nixon in August 8th, 1974, the evening of President Nixon announced his intention to become the first sitting United States president to resign with impeachment proceedings hanging over him for his involvement in the Watergate affair. So those of you may not be familiar with that. This is back in the 70s when 1974, five men who were tied to Nixon's re-election committee were arrested for breaking into and illegally wiretapping the Democratic National Convention headquarters or committee headquarters in the Washington, D.C. Watergate complex. So, all that and all the proceedings and legal mumbo jumbo that followed, it was all for the intent to gain political advantage for the administration, for the Republican Party, and in return for political favors. So, hey, he's not the only one that was doing dirt, of course, but, this is one of the more significant political scandals in our history, and it happened on this date. So, with that being said, don't cheat. So, let's move on. So, welcome to episode 32, fellow Marauders, and we're calling this one Wind Up. That's right, we are getting wind up. And with that being said, we are marauding on the wine culture. So, this is something that is near and dear to me and my wife's hearts, as well as our friends and guests that we have here sitting with us, and as well as y'all watching at home. So, thank you for tuning in. So, when we talk about wine, right, we are not talking about the Arbor Mist, the Barefoot, the Arbor Mist, the Barefoot, the Carlos Rossi's, the Sutter Homes, and everybody's favorite, the oh so exquisite Mad Dog 2020. We're not talking about those, not at all. We have some good stuff today, and joining us on as we maraud on the wine culture, it is Wayne and Christina from PRP Wine International. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
All right. And as well as our friends, Christine and Michael, and Susan and Chris. So say hello to the world, everybody.
Hello.
Oh, I dropped the mic. So technical difficulties. It wouldn't be a Culture Marauder show without them. So like I said, today, we're marauding on the wine culture. And, before we really get into it, we're going to just go around and, hey, what's up? Tell us who you are. And, let's go into it. So we're going to start with Wayne and Christina.
Hi. So Wayne the wine guy is what they call me. I am a level 1 sommelier. All right. So I've been studying wines, for the past 6 years. And I actually, passed my level 1 about 2 years ago. So I've been studying for about 4 years to get it. Now I'm actually studying for my level 2. And so with COVID and everything, hopefully I can take it before the end of the year because I've been studying hard. But my whole path is to try and see how far I can go as a sommelier. And also, with the company I work for, PRP Wine, I'm actually the branch manager. I do all the wine training, and I do a lot of it mostly in Florida. And she is actually one of my trainees to be the next big superstar for us.
All right, let's see.
Well, I'm Christina. I've been in the food and beverage industry for over 15 years, so I have a passion with connecting with people as well as having great food and having great wine, of course. I'm so excited to be a wine consultant with PRP Wine and bringing these experiences to your house, especially when we're focusing on social distancing. Great opportunity to still have a wine time. And as I continue to learn, I continue to meet people. I start to see all your different palates and ranges, and I get to try great wine that's exclusive to us. So it's a really great opportunity for everybody to just get engage with what PRP Wine has to offer. So thank you so much for having us today. We're really, really excited. We brought you some fantastic wines that you're going to enjoy. And at the end, we can talk about everything that you can get when you're one of our clients as well.
All right. See, look, these are the things that we're bringing to you guys, the listeners. We don't sell you short, the good stuff. So, all right. So we're going to get into it. So Wayne, before we get into it, let's talk a little bit about what a sommelier is.
Okay. So a sommelier, it's actually it's changed over the years. Way back in the day, the sommelier at a nice restaurant would be the person who was in charge of the wine and who had the most wine knowledge. has now evolved into different things where the sommelier these days, we have to know every major region in the entire world. We have to study every major soil type. We have to know every grapes from every region and sub-regions, memorize that, because all of that actually affects the taste of the wine. So before it was just in the restaurants, now in the modern day somm has to know just about everything about winemaking, everything about the regions. Also too, we actually have to dip into hard liquors and alcohol, cognac.
Yeah, but some, right?
Yeah, so we actually yeah. So it's a lot of wine tasting, tons of wine tasting, a lot of, we get into beers now too, where I have to taste beers. We have to know all the different hops and all the different barley. So yeah, it's a really, really bad time. But yeah, so we've evolved, and we're not just in the setting of the restaurant. Now we're in businesses, we're in sales, we're in wine growing, or wine making, distribution. So the modern day somm actually covers everything.
Sounds like it's like a businessman as well as a
Exactly. Yeah.
connoisseur.
Very good. All right. So now you know. All right. So tell us a little bit about PRP.
All right. So PRP Wine. What we do is we specialize in in-home wine tastings. We've been actually doing in-home wine tastings here in the U.S. for over 40 years, but it started over in Europe about 70 years ago when our three main winemaking families came together and they wanted to bring the feel of the vineyard into people's home. So that's what the PRP stands for. All right, so the first P is Perot, our German family. R is Romanée, our French family. And Piccolomini is our Italian family.
Right.
So all three families have been doing wine for over 3 centuries. It was our Perot family that actually came up with the concept of the in-home wine tasting. It was 2 brothers, Elmer and Kuno, were actually knocking door to door with a case of Riesling, going, "Hey, would you like to try some wine?"
Yeah.
So that's how we got started.
How do they sound?
Hey, would you like to try some wine?
Yeah.
So I'll kind of use some of my accents during this whole thing.
Good.
Yeah. So that's how we got started, and they really spread out all over the world. But they're in every major region in Germany, from the Rheinhessen to the Rheingau to Mosel, which we actually will be tasting in Mosel today. And our headquarters is actually in Nahi, Germany. And then they actually spread out all over the world. So they own vineyards in South Hungary, Romania. They partner up with the vineyards in Spain, Portugal, Southeastern Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Chile, Argentina, even California. So we are worldwide. Romanée, strictly French, they're from Languedoc, or the Languedoc region of France, which is actually known for having some of the largest vineyards in all of France. And not that they're the oldest family, but they do work with some of the oldest families from all over France. So we have phenomenal champagnes, fantastic Bordeaux, which we'll be tasting a Bordeaux today, fantastic sparkling Chenin Blancs from Loire. We even have a 50-year-old cognac that is delicious. One of my favorite things that we have in our portfolio, and even North and South Rhone. And with our Piccolomini family from Italy, they're from Tuscany, friends with the Da Vinci family, as we're the only wine company that can put the picture of the Mona Lisa on the bottle, and we don't pay any royalties for it. Reason being is because they married into each other. They actually collaborate on a lot of winemaking, especially in Sicily, but every major region in Italy, from Puglia to Abruzzo to Valagorina, Veneto, even Valpulcia, Piemonte.
It sounds good. I don't know what you said, but it sounds good.
When you talk about the strengths of our families and how they do wine, even our New World families that we adopted through the years, we do all of our wine in the Old World way. So when I say Old World way, it's all natural. We don't add any extra sulfites, sugars, or preservatives. So when you drink our wines, you don't get any headaches or hangovers. And I do put it to the test. Maybe a little too much, but I do put it to the test.
So I
It
can have
works.
more
Yeah.
than one bottle and I can be good.
Yes.
That sounds
Even
like a
more than
problem.
that. You may wake up still drunk. You maybe need to Uber it to work. No headache. Yeah. So these wines are exclusively through us. You won't find this in any stores or restaurants. And the reason being because it's small production. We have vineyards that only make 4,000 to 5,000 bottles per vintage. So when we run out, you have to actually wait till the next year to get these wines.
Nice.
So what we do is we cut out the middleman. We bring these wines directly to you. And the best thing is you get to try these wines before you get them.
Mm-hmm.
How many times do you go to the store, pick up a bottle of wine, like, oh, this is a pretty label. You put it in your glass, you sip it,
That's about all it is.
then you spit it, you go, yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in this. Yeah. So with us, you get to taste them before you get them.
Okay.
One of the things I like to do is not only figure out your palates, because everybody's palates are different, but I love to open up your minds to wine. So I'm going to teach you guys a lot about wine today. I'm going to teach you the art of the glass, so you can swirl your wine, look at the
That's
color.
fancy stuff,
Be like, no, this was from 1985, Sharpen Up the Pop. You know, so you'll have a nice experience. We'll go through about 6 wines today, which would be a lot of fun. And then we'll talk about what we have to offer everybody as far as our in-home wine tastings or how we promote our wines by the case.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, we got a special gift or giveaway for the Florida residents that are tuning in. So stay tuned for that. So with that being said, thank you, Wayne. We're going to go ahead and get into it. So we're going to talk about the rundown, right? What did you bring us today?
Oh, we brought a lot of wines from all over the world. All right. So we're going to start off going to France. All right. But before we head to France, I kind of wanted to be a little test with you guys to see where your wine knowledge is.
All right.
All right. So does anybody here know what the 5 S's are to the art of the glass, or the 5 S's to drinking wine?
The
Sip, smell.
Sip. Well.
Oh, yeah, see as a test.
Yeah.
Pass, very good.
All right, go ahead.
The sip.
Swirl.
Swirl.
Smell.
Smell.
She's cheating. She's looking at it
5.
on Google.
It's
Come on.
like texting doing the thing.
We got one more.
You got 2 more. Think of your senses.
Sight with that.
Sight. Yes. And then the last one.
Is that S also?
It says an S. Yeah.
So
I don't know if you ever see like these big wine tastings. They always have a bucket.
spit.
Yeah. All right. So I say spit because if you're tasting like 900 wines, which I've done before. All right. First of all, you fall on your face if you get through the first table. Second is alcohol actually kills your taste buds while you're drinking it. So you can't enjoy the next taste of wine. All right. So when you're doing a large amount of wine like that, you spit it out so you can enjoy the next taste. Well, I'm going to switch that last S from spit to savor.
I was going to say that.
Yeah. So that's the unofficial 6S. So because we're only tasting 6 wines and plus dessert, we're only tasting 6 wines plus dessert, so you'll be able to actually savor the wine.
Nice.
Enjoy. All right. So we're heading to France for the first wine. When you're tasting white wines, or you always do white before red because red's overpower the whites. When you do whites, you always go from dry to sweet because sweetness overpowers the dryness. All right. So we are going to head to Bordeaux. All right. And this first wine is called our Les Jardins d'Eleanor. And you guys have tasting cards too. So if you wanted to take notes. Okay. I think guys actually.
No, you can.
So, fellow Marauders, we got a nice spread out here, right? So, we keep it classy. I was going to do, dollar millionaire cheeseburgers, but I was like, you know what? These people are worth more than that, right? So, we got some jalapeno cheddar sausage, some pasta salad, some shrimp, a nice little cheese sampler, some olives, chicken kebabs, and then some filet mignon. So, we're going to do it up big.
Nice. So, on your tasting cards, it's going to say vintage, right? That's what the year the grapes are harvested. Don't worry about the code, okay? For the names of the wines, I'll give you guys nicknames for the wines because, like Chevalier, or Burglar, hard to write down. And then for the ratings of the wines, you can rate them however you like. You can do like 1 through 5, 5 being the highest. Or you can do smiley faces, you can do stars. This is for you. So, there's no exam at the end of this. And then for the comments, I'll actually talk about the wine, where they're from, how they were produced, how to pair them with different foods, what grapes are in them. So that way, if anything stands out to you, you can kind of jot it down.
Right.
But heading to Bordeaux, all right? And it's kind of crazy because most Bordeaux's are famous for their reds, right? But this is actually going to be a white Bordeaux. All right. So when you talk about Bordeaux and their grapes, by law in Bordeaux, for the reds, it can be only 5 grapes and it has to be a blend of 2. So that's Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot, and Malbec. Those are the only 5 grapes that can be used in a red Bordeaux, and it has to be a blend of at least 2. All right. With the whites, it's only 3 grapes. You have your Muscadel, you have your Semillon, and your Sauvignon Blanc. And it can be a blend, or it can be a single grape varietal. So this next wine is going to be 100% Sauvignon Blanc. The name of this wine is called Les Jardins d'Eleanor, which stands for the Garden of Eleanor, which the nickname is the Garden Wine. Okay. All right, so 2019 on the vintage. When you talk about Bordeaux as a region, it's an AOC. So AOC in France means Appellation Origine Contrôlée, which is one of the highest forms of wine you can get. Means all the grapes have to come from that region by law. All right. So about 12.5 in the alcohol in this one.
Ooh, winner.
Yeah. All right, so we'll go through the 5 S's on this first wine so I can teach you the importance of each S. If you don't mind, if I can borrow your glass and I won't spit in it. Yeah, so I'll go through it with you. So I'm going to pour this in the glass. Don't drink it yet, just stare at it with the intent to drink.
Oh,
Oh, it's all
Look
over.
at that.
Great, great.
Yes.
So I'm drinking with my eyes right now.
Yes.
That's the sight part of it.
What's the nickname we're calling this one?
The garden wine.
The garden wine. All right.
It's Eleanor's.
Yeah, Garden of Eleanor. Les Jardins d'Eleanor.
That's my middle name.
All right, so first S is sight. All right, first you want to look at the clarity of your wine. All of our wines are going to be clear. All right, and also make sure there's nothing floating in it too. All right, but look for the clarity. But 2 important terms with your sight. All right, the first one, if you look at this big band of color right here, it's called the robe. All right, so the robe is really important because it tells you the age of the wine. So with whites, all right, if it starts off clear or a little hint of green on it, that means it's very young. The more yellow to golden it becomes, the more age is on it. Right, so that's how you tell the age of the wine. With Sauvignon Blancs, they usually start off with a hint of green. So this being a 2019, it does have just a touch of green to it. All right. Also, too, if you look on top of your robe, you see that really thick line, right? Almost looks like silver on top of it, right? That's called the disc. So the disc is very important because if there's no disc in your wine, then your wine has gone bad. Either air got through the cork, or maybe there was mold in the cork and contaminated the wine, or maybe that bottle got heated up and it burnt the sugars in the wine. So it would take away that disc right there. All right. But after you smell the wine, you're like, oh man, that's horrible. Yeah. All right. So that's the importance of sight. The next one is the swirl. And these are little teeny glasses, so be careful.
It's a Dollar Tree.
Yeah. All right. So swirl is important because this opens up your wine. It puts air into your wine. The more air you put into your wine, the more it releases a bouquet, right? And your sense of smell and taste go hand in hand. So the more you smell, the more you're going to taste. So you should always be swirling your wine, all right? Unless it's sparkling. Sparkling, you want to keep the bubbles in there. So that's why you have the flute glasses, right? To keep the bubbles. Which leads to the next S, which is the sniff. So 3 correct ways how to sniff your wine. First one, I call it the drive-by. So you do a little, right? When you go like that, right, you get little hints of citrus on it, white peaches, and a floral, like a white flower nose on it, right? Sniff it from the top, and you can go closer too. I just don't want to put my nose all the way to the wine. All right? So you get more fruit flavors on it. So you get more of that citrus on it. All right? Also, too, where this wine is grown is Belias, which is just north of Bordeaux City. All right? So the soil type there is going to be you're going to have gravel with a little silt on top of the gravel with a layer of clay on top of it. And Sauvignon Blanc likes to grow on that. So you're actually going to get hints of that on the nose and on the taste. So the last S, right? You tilt your glass a little forward, right? So you have more of a surface area. Then you stick your schnoz in there and take a really good whiff. Just don't start the wine, right? So you can smell kind of that gravelly limestone chalkiness to it. Right, with that little thing of silt on it. And this is how we pinpoint where the wines come from, is by knowing the soil types, because you can actually smell and taste it. Which leads to the next S, which is the sip. He's already getting there. All right, when you sip it, swish it in your mouth so you get the full flavor. All right, and sip it about 3 times, because the third sip is where you're going to get all the flavor. And something to pair this wine with, if you do have a piece of shrimp in your wine, take a sip of the wine, put the shrimp in your mouth, take a sip of the wine again.
That was the 4th S?
Yeah, so then the last one is savor. Savor the wine, yeah.
Oh, no.
Savor the wine.
It's good anyway.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's a fantastic wine. White Bordeaux's are so good because they're just so crisp on the finish. A lot of people are used to New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs, which are very herbaceous because there's a ton of moss in the soil there, so you can actually taste that grassiness in the wine. This is more clean. It's more crisp. It pairs really well with seafood. When you talk about seafood, you can pair it with like fish on the grill. Think about adding the element of citrus to your fish, right? Because it's kind of lemony, right? Yeah. So add the element of citrus to your fish. You can pair this with what do you call it? Salmon and asparagus, And that's actually from the winemaker. So I had a chat with him. He said, yeah, salmon and asparagus are amazing. But you want to stay more on the seafood side. So I did a food and wine pairing where my buddy's a chef, and he made this crab salad that had roe in it. Right, so when you pair it with this, like when the roe would pop in your mouth, there'd be little explosions of flavor. All right. So moving on to the next wine.
Oh, before we go, how are we gonna rate this? Let's do 1 through
5.
Yeah, 1 through 5.
1 through 5. There we go. All right.
Can you imagine I do this for a living? All right, so for the next wine, we're going to head to Veneto. So Veneto is going to be northeast Italy. Right, this is going to be from our Piccolomini family. This is called our Duca della Mafia, or we call this one the Duca, D-U-C-A. 2018 on the vintage. Actually, if you look at the color, it's a little bit darker than the last one because it has a little age on it, right? All right, so this wine right here is actually named after the former Duke of the Amalfi Coast, who just happened to be a Piccolomini. Right? All right, so this comes from the area of Val del Vigge, just a little bit north of Venice. The main white grapes that are grown in Val del Vigge are Pinot Grigio, Chardonnay, and Riesling. So this is going to be a blend of all three. Now, when you talk about classifications in Italy, just like France has the AOC, in Italy they have the DOC, which stands for Denominazione Origine Controllata, which is their highest form of wine, meaning all the grapes have to come from that region. All right. So this is a white wine that's not overly dry. It's not overly sweet. Right. It's right in the middle. All right. You're gonna on the nose, and you guys can do the 5 S's on your own now. Yeah. And you're gonna do it like all the time when you go to restaurants. And you're like, oh, look at this. This is a 19. This is a 19.
I can tell. I can tell right there.
Yeah.
Where's the disc?
So, you get little hints of pear, green apple, and citrus on this one. When you taste it, it's mostly pear and green apple. The amazing thing about this wine is the finish. Right? It is super crisp and super refreshing.
All right.
Can you give me the name again?
Duca della Mafia, or the Duca, D-U-C-A.
And this is a blend of 3 grapes, right, Wayne?
Mhm.
Closer to you.
Maybe.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just 5 foot 2.
Thank you.
So hope you guys are having fun.
Of course. Oh, there's a disc. I can tell. 15.
So the robe,
The robe.
that's clear, right?
Well, the robe
Is it
on
the
this
line?
one, no, the robe is going to be the color.
Oh, the color.
The disc.
Oh, yeah, so it's more yellow.
Yeah. Mhm.
The
Yeah.
disc is.
That was mine.
Mhm. Yeah, it almost has little hints of silver on it. If you look at it.
Drive-by, I don't get nothing with the drive-by.
It's
Yeah,
tough. This one's a little light. This one's really
And then
light.
it's,
So you want to swirl the heck out of it
Oh.
to really open it up.
Okay.
Are you supposed to do that with every wine? You're supposed to open it up
Yeah,
like
always swirl it, unless it's sparkling.
Oh, that's good.
So what
Sparkling
is-
ones. Sparkling ones, you want to keep the bubbles in there.
You keep-
Yeah.
So then that aerator, is that?
You can use it. What I recommend is if you have any bottle that's over 10 years old, not to use an aerator because you'll break up the particles and you'll actually damage the wine. I would pour it very slowly into it. The can.
It's really good. I know the dry bread.
That's your way.
Dry bread, it's really a dry
And
bread.
as you
I keep
continue
on
to
driving
swirl
by,
it
driving
and then
by.
taste it, you're gonna start getting more flavors because you're adding more air into it. And you're also swishing it in your taste buds, so you're getting it all over.
That was really good. What was the year and
Oh, I like
alcohol
this.
content on
So
this?
that is 18. Alcohol is 11.
Oh, that's why I like this one.
The other one had more.
Yeah, the other
Yeah.
one.
Oh, the one
is
had one,
Yeah.
what was the other one?
12.5.
Oh, I thought this was less than.
What is this one called again?
Duca, D-U-C-A. Or I call it the patio counter because it's really easy to drink on a hot summer day.
Yeah.
That's, I
Yeah.
love this.
So when you pair this with food, since you have those 3 grapes, you can pair this with a lot of things. You can do shellfish because the Chardonnay is really good with shellfish.
We have some.
The Pinot Grigio. Pinot Grigio pairs very well with like fish on the grill, adding the citrus to the fish on the grill. And then Riesling in it is really good with spicy. So you can do like blackened mahi-mahi. Would be amazing.
The
Or
sweet
swordfish,
pasta.
yeah. Also, you can do creaming with this. So you can do like goat cheese, cream cheese. You can do blue cheese with this. You can do salads that have goat cheese crumbles in it, with maybe some strawberries in it to give a little fruit. Yeah. But you can also pair this too with sushi and wasabi. So it's really all over the place.
It's really good. It's just his chicken.
And light
Is it
chicken
spicy?
dishes too. Yeah.
Anything you got.
Anything else? You can just know
I
that.
don't know, I just drank it.
All right, so ready for the next?
Sure.
So we're gonna head to Germany. So while she's grabbing this, I'm gonna talk a little bit about Germany, just because our main family is German. All right. So in Germany, if you see on the bottle Hochstadt Wein, that means highest form of wine. But even higher than that, you have your Prediketswein. So Prediketswein, it denotes that they actually pick these grapes in a certain harvest. Right? So Germans actually mastered how to naturally sweeten up their wines, and they do that by leaving the grapes on the vine. So there's 6 predicates, or 6 seasons when they harvest grapes. Right? The first season is when your grapes are very young and tart. Right? So it'll be more acidic because they're not ripe. Right? It's called the cabinet. Right? So your wines will be more acidic, tart, low alcohol, low sugars in them, all right? It literally translates to the monks back in the day would grab the best of the first harvest and actually hide it in the cabinet. So cabinet, all right? So they still have grape clusters on the vine. They wait 2 weeks, all right? During those 2 weeks, the grapes will ripen up, get more residual sugars, right? And this season is called your Spätlese. Okay, so Spätlese, all right? You can either have a sweeter wine because of the sugars, or you can ferment it longer to have higher alcohol. Okay? They wait another 2 weeks, still have clusters of grapes in the vines. All right, so now they're starting to raise in just a little bit. So higher concentrated sugars, less juice, which means you can get a really sweet wine, which are starting to get to a dessert wine now, or you can have a really high alcohol wine. All right, it's called your Auslese. And they wait another 2 weeks. And then the grape pickers go out with these little buckets and they start picking these fully raisined grapes one by one. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. All right. So this season is called your Baden Auslese. So Baden Auslese stands for berry selection because they're picking each grape one by one. These fully raisined grapes make a really, really sweet dessert wine. Now they come in smaller bottles and a little bit more expensive.
Is that like an ice wine?
So the next season is they wait for frost to go over the grapes, right? And they wait till the grapes get frozen on the vine, and then they go out at about 4 o'clock in the morning, pick the frozen grapes, immediately press them, get 2% juice, really high concentrated sugars. That is your Eichmann.
Okay.
Then they wait another 2 weeks, all right? Now your grapes are actually rotting on the vine with a noble rot called botrytis. Right? Now, botrytis actually preserves the grapes and also makes them even sweeter, all right? So this is called your Trocken Baden Auslese. Trocken stands for dry, Baden Auslese, berry selection, all right? So they pick, again, the grapes one by one, or when they press it, like almost no juice out of it at all. Makes a really, really thick, honey-like dessert wine, all right? So we're gonna head to Mosel. Mosel is regarded as one of the best regions in the entire world for growing Riesling, and Germans are known for growing the Riesling. And the reason being is because Mosel, all your vineyards lie in the Mosel River, which kind of snakes like this, all right? Then you have these hills and these cliffs where the Riesling grapes actually grow up these cliffs, right? So with that being said, there's actually people scaffolding down the sides of these cliffs, picking the grapes. All right, so very important here because sunlight will reflect off the river and actually touch all the Riesling grapes and vines to make them ripen up more. And then also the land is made out of slate. So slate will heat up during the day and stay warm during the night to ripen up the grapes even more. So this is why Mosel is regarded as one of the best places. Our next wine comes from our Perot family. It's called our Detzheimer St. Michael, right? Or I call it St. Mike. Keep it simple, all right? 100% Riesling, and this is going to be a Spätlese. All right, so 8.5% on the alcohol, all right? 2018 on the vintage. Riesling start off almost like water, all right? So this will just have a touch of straw yellow to it because of a little bit of age on it. To me, Rieslings, and when I talk about like fruits on my palates, they're on my palate. Everybody's palates could be different. Someone told me they get gooseberries, and I've never had a gooseberry before, so I couldn't tell you what it is. But for me, Rieslings take the characteristics of apples. So when you think of this, think of like a Granny Smith apple, a ripe Granny Smith apple. When you smell it, like someone cut into it. When you taste it, like you take a bite out of the green apple.
Yeah, thank you.
And do your 5 S's.
No cheating.
What I do notice when I go to like Total Wine, on any of the German wines on the back that says like how dry it is to sweetness and it like has a beer,
Hoping at the dry
which I like because
It's
that's
easy,
how
yeah.
I determine which wine I want to have. Oh, it has something more dry.
Well, now you can just look at the labels. It's Predicate Green. It's a Spätlese. It's going to have a little sweetness to it. But you look at the alcohol too, because during fermentation, you know, yeast use sugar to create alcohol. So if there's high alcohol, typically it's a drier wine. So when you pair this with food, with that tart finish on it, you go spicy. Spicy all the way. Thai food is phenomenal with this. Yeah, so the spicier it is, the better it tastes. You also go creamy with this one. So cream cheese, blue cheese, and goat cheese. If you want to go spicy with your blue cheese, if you have hot wings and blue cheese with this, amazing. All right. I think my favorite pairing with this is sushi that has a ton of wasabi in it.
Oh,
I can see that.
this is called what?
St. Mike.
St. Mike, yeah. And that's sein wir St. Mike. Predicates means Spätlese.
Second hardest, yeah.
So that's actually it for the wife. So you guys want to take a little break to get some more food?
Sure. Yeah. So
I think that's some
So
water.
we're 3 deep. This is really, really good stuff, y'all. And you know, Wayne is laying a lot of information on us. Hey, we'll be right back. We're gonna eat. Don't laugh at us if we're grubbing down and spilling, but we'll be right back with the next round, starting with the reds, right?
Yep.
All right.
So which one out of the 3 did you guys like the most?
I think the St. Mike was the best.
Same
Yeah.
like.
Right, so-
Yeah,
I wrote everybody as a 5.
The Duke was really good though.
Yeah. The
I
Duke
just
is
needed to
easy to please. It's a crowd pleaser because if
That's really
you have
nice.
dry people, if you have sweet people, they'll still everybody
works.
enjoys the
Yeah, it
Duke.
works.
Yeah.
So
You need a
Face
bigger
actually
plate.
live in Germany in the Mosel Valley.
No, no
Yeah,
good.
so
Okay.
the Bad Dürkheim Wine Fest, we go there in the summer.
I know.
Yeah, in the summer, early fall.
Yeah.
And man, the wine out there was so good.
It's good,
So
yeah.
They give it to you like in the
I was
Yeah.
last day. Good stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
Mosul has
yeah.
really good
Yeah.
dry Riesling that you
Yeah.
can hardly find around here.
93 degrees heat. Let that part out.
No, no.
I just
Come
decided
on.
to go.
So delicious.
I got it.
Take that part out.
That's just like on the counter. We'll get it.
That's why she's like, I'll get you there. Sure. Good information here.
Yeah, let me make sure.
This is.
You want a little bit of everything?
Okay, sure.
I hate to dip that. We might need to. This is so much fun over here.
Yeah,
Let our kids out.
this? Is that how pick it up the other day?
This is fantastic.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, man, go back to room. Okay, that's an idea, yeah.
I didn't realize that. I apologize.
No, you're fine.
Oh, I
Thank you for
see.
having me.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, no,
I'm Susan. I didn't get to say hi. I had a question. I think I
Michael.
needed to bust it up. Michael.
Yes.
I'm Chris, guys, I've definitely seen it.
Good to meet you.
Fellow brothers just tuning in. Hey, we're taking a little bit of a break, grabbing some more food. We're gonna come back and do a little bit more of the testing that's going on, the white taste testing. A lot of good stuff. From you know, a little bit drier all the way up to the sweet that we just had with the German Riesling. Yeah, real good food, real good company. That's how we do it on Culture Marauders. So just stay tuned.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
You too.
Take care. Oh my gosh. Sell the car safely.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, bro.
Thanks for the screen spread. Thank you.
Awesome.
We'll be out here, Joe, like,
For a while? Okay. Thank you.
All right. Twisting my arm.
I see that. I was gonna say at some point you're gonna have.
Yeah. Cool. I guess you'll see it.
Are kids usually quiet?
Yes. Jackson's watching.
Yeah, Jackson.
Yeah, they have like super, like, super good right now. It's really good.
Yeah. Oh. I was right in front of it. Like, they're either watching something on TV or getting into super aggressive color.
But I haven't heard anything breaking. I haven't heard anything crash. No one screamed, so.
Nobody's screaming.
So far, they're good.
You gonna grab something?
Not yet.
Okay.
The coffee filled me
Oh.
up. Well, I had pad thai, which made me feel a little sleepy because the noodles. Then I had a triple shot latte to spruce it up, and now I'm like full.
Yeah, that sauce is really good.
Those are good. I should have just got a bigger glass so I could have one.
Well, when we're done with the tasting, the bottles are yours to enjoy for the rest of the night.
All right.
So, feel free to have at it.
They usually don't last too very long. I wanted to get one of those wine fridges, but I'm like, we don't keep the wine. Yeah, like we finish a bottle and
Yeah.
We have
We've said the same.
way too
Ours
many
is
of those
empty.
Publix 4-bag. Like, open the closet, throw one in, close the closet door real quick, there's 30 of them in there, and they're gonna fall out if you don't.
We were talking about in the last tasting that they did a study in the 90s for France, and we're realizing they were living longer, and they were trying to figure out why. And it's because they were having red wine every night. And because they don't have those extra added preservatives or sulfites in the natural wines, they actually can drink them, and it actually benefits them. So it's not bad that you're having a couple glasses.
perfect. That's all I need to know. I'll tell my doctor.
Yeah, they actually, when they did the study and they figured that out, Napa was mostly Chardonnay. So they were known for their Chardonnay from the 70s and actually beat France in a contest called the, oh God, what's the name of it? We'll come back to it. Anyway, so when they figured out that red wine kind of makes it a little longer, so Napa tore up a lot of the Chardonnay grapes and actually planted Cabernet Sauvignon. So that's why now Napa is predominantly Cabernet Sauvignon. So just little things in history, like, if Prohibition never happened, we'd have completely different grapes in Napa. They were more Spanish and Italian based. And then it became more French based later on. So interesting. Yeah, a lot of studying.
A lot of studying on there.
I have a friend my best friend from childhood, her husband's Somalian.
Oh, nice.
And so they live in British Columbia, so they're far away, but I would hear like what he would do, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like I could never, like I just don't have like that distinction, like I don't think I could smell and taste all of the just minute differences between things.
Oh, yeah.
He could do it, it was so impressive.
Yeah, I have a couple of sound friends who just hang out and buy taste wine. Try to guess what they are. I can mostly get grapes and regions. I can't get into the actual areas and villages and vineyards, like other masters can.
Wow.
But that's just over time, tasting and tasting and tasting and tasting and tasting. Yeah.
It's true, because like when I first started, I remember we tried a wine and he's like, do you smell the green bell pepper? And I was like, I know. No. And now weeks later, we tried a wine earlier this week and I was like, green bell pepper, I found it. And it's the more you taste it, the more you open your mind to it, complementing it with foods kind of broadens instead of using just the few adjectives you knew, kind of starts, gaining more and more, and then kind of starts out a little snobby, but hey,
That's why we transitioned from the Dublin.
The water was in the cooler. Yeah, sure.
Then there comes a point where they're like, yeah, I smell wet dog, and I smell leather, and I'm always like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? But it explains what kind of barrel to use. It explains the soil and different things like that, and that's the distinction that they can find when they get to that point where they balanced out all that flavor, yeah.
That's an art.
And I wasn't a big white drinker till I started with the company as well. I was big into bold reds, and now I'm like tasting these really great oak Chardonnays, and I'm like, okay, I can do that. And I can tell the difference too now that why I didn't like the other ones before, that I really enjoy the stainless steel flavor of a Chardonnay versus the oak and things like that.
Yeah,
I like it all.
We used to like only sweet.
More dessert like.
All dessert wines. We would go to a restaurant. We're like, oh, you want your dessert? It's like, no, I just want my dessert wine. And then we were like, oh, now it's too sweet. Now I can't. All the ones that we used to drink, I can't drink those unless.
Yeah, your palate matures. 'Cause I used to love sweet wines when I didn't know anything about wine when I started.
I just wanted it sweet, yeah.
Literally zero. I'm like, wine? Yeah, sure. Gets me drunk.
And then we wake up wondering why we had headaches and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is that Duplins? Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, if you have an old world wine that's on natural, even though it's super sweet, it's on natural sugar, so you won't get any headaches or hangovers. So.
It's good to know.
You may get a little dehydration if you don't drink any water,
Mhm.
but you just wake up with like a dry sponge tongue. So you're like, should have drank some water last night.
That's amazing. I could definitely. Shit, you're right.
I think we do.
Yeah.
On several occasions.
Oh, yeah.
And we joined the Cooper's Hot Wine Club because we loved it so much. I just love going down there and getting my 2 bottles. Well, most of the time I save it for 2 months so I can get 4.
That's right.
And they give me a box. And I come out with my box.
Oh, that's cool.
Mhm.
You're gonna do it.
Okay, I think
It's
I'll
funny
stop
when you
now.
walked in, you were just standing there, the camera was right on you, like.
He was like, he saw the camera. He's like, I'm out. Nobody said anything about no camera. I'm out.
I want this on camera.
What's up, y'all? Who we got checking in? Let's see. Jumped off real quick. Let's see. All right. We're gonna be getting back into it here real soon. Thanks for y'all tuning in. If you want to comment or got any questions about the selections and the wines and stuff, y'all know what to do. Go ahead and hit it up and with the comments section. And then, if there's anything you want to maraud on or anything else, hit us up on the IG at _culture_marauders or on Instagram, or I'm sorry, on Facebook at the Culture Marauders. So check it out.
Babe, I have to try that. It's like,
And I can
it's.
What's up?
The pasta salad, that was delicious.
You would love that.
It's-
Yeah, I helped when Dixie make it. Like I gave my recipe.
You're kidding me. Stop. Oh, okay.
Yep.
And that's on.
That's really so good. You're kidding me.
No.
Oh my god. It's so good. It's so good. Well, that's even better. Now I can get it and I don't have to put in any effort. That is.
There you go.
All right, we're settled in.
All right. Just as promised, we are back. We are back, everybody. So we're again, hey, this episode 32, we're winding up, and we got Wayne and Christina from PRP Wine International. We just went through. There's Christina in the back, wave to the camera. All right. And so we just went through a number of 3 whites, right? So we started with the Garden Wine, which is a 12.5, 2019, and then we had the Duca, which is a 2018. It was 11%. And then 2018 Riesling, the St. Mike, which is 8.5. So I think everybody around the table can agree, like all the wines are pretty good, right? Yeah, actually really good. So, so we're about to get started here on the reds. Wayne's coming in, and he's going to catch us up to speed. So listen up.
Before we get there, I just want to give you a little bit of the benefits of working with us with PRP Wine International. So again, we do the in-home wine tastings, which is a great opportunity for you to get those wines that you may have not tried before, and then the opportunity to purchase them at the end. But then not only that, and once you become our wine clients, you get Wayne the wine guy or you get me. So whenever you need wine, you can always call us up. We can always supplement your wine or let you know when something's new coming out. And then we also have a few perks with that too. So first of all of our wine is guaranteed. So if you happen to get a case and have a bad bottle in it, or it doesn't taste right to you or it's off, you give me a call and I'll go ahead and I'll replace that for you. And if we don't have it available, because like we said, we do have them a limited availability, then we'll go ahead and find something similar so that you can still enjoy that wine as well. Pretty much available all the time. We can meet up with you. You can come to the warehouse, or we can ship it to your house too. So we have different events that we do. So we have wine dinners where we'll go ahead and we'll work with wine restaurants such as Carmel's, Del Frisco's, where they have wine, but they also have great food. So they'll allow us to bring our wine in, and they'll set up a 5-course meal for you, usually ranging between $55, $65. And we just bring cases of wine to complement all those courses. Usually 2 wines per course. So try about 10 wines. And we don't want to leave with the cases of wine. So we're going to give you them, and it's a good idea to Uber because you're going to have a lot of wine. and enjoy it with the complementing food too. So, you'd be surprised, you might not like sweet wines, but then when we pair it with a complimentary dish, all of a sudden, now you're open-minded to something you may have not enjoyed before, all based on the way that you're trying it with the complimentary food. After the wine dinners, we also have hotel events where we'll go ahead and we'll take out the auditorium, we'll showcase some of our wines exclusively first to you. And we usually have, how many wines do you think we'd have at the warehouse this year? 86?
8 to 6.
8 to 6. I was like, 86. Okay, that's fun too. So how about 8 to 6 wines, and it's, we'll take out the auditorium, we'll have cheese and crackers and stuff, but it gives you an opportunity to try that wine first. And we are always inviting our clients first before we invite the public or let them know about those wines.
Nice.
Then moving on, we have our warehouse events where we're having one next weekend. When you're a client, we'll invite you when we have new wines, and we'll set up tons of different wines, even finer wines, higher scale wines that you may not consider purchasing, and you'll actually get the chance to taste them. And we open up the warehouse. Right now with the pandemic, we're allowing you to do it from your car. We'll bring some samples to you so you're a little bit safer. Some people camp out and bring their own cheese, put a little tent out and enjoy the time there. But normally we would let you come into the warehouse, see the office, see where all the wine is, and get to try some wines that you may have not tried before.
It's like 45 wines.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not 46. Huh?
Again, Uber's your best friend. All the activities are Uber friendly, okay? And then last but definitely not least, we do the Starlight Cruise, which goes out of St. Pete as well as Clearwater. And what we'll do this, I think it's $45, and we'll bring tons of wine, and it's very limited to 170 people. So you're the first ones that we tell about the dates to make sure you get that chance to go. And it's a really fun time. You have Wayne on stage talking about all the different wines that he brings, and then you get to try all these different wines on the side. So he'll showcase 6 to 8 on stage, and in the meantime, we'll have some side pours with a couple other wines for you. And again, we're not bringing that wine off the boat. So there's a lot for you to drink and enjoy, and definitely want to get you home safely as well.
Uber there.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of perks. We do get our wine exclusive. So when you go to a wine dinner and you bring some wine and they're like, oh, I really love that, you can tell them, no, we got to get it from PRP. You can't get it anywhere else. And luckily for you, the office is in Tampa, so it's extremely convenient for you. But we do ship all over the country depending on what's allowed legally. So if you have somebody that you really, have that's in California, or somebody that you want to ship to and you don't want to do it yourself, you can order it for them and we can ship it for them as well.
Oh, we got some friends in Vegas.
There we go.
Yeah, so without further ado, we're moving to red.
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Another thing too is when you do become a client, so say you buy a case of wine from us and you become a client, we actually do the in-home wine tastings for our clients complimentary. So you can call me up and be like, yeah, I got some friends over, and show off my wine guy. Hey, I got a guy.
We all got a guy somewhere.
All right, so all right, so we're moving on to the reds. Now we go to the reds where you're looking at the color of the wine. If you have ruby red, violet red, that means it's young. The key color is brick red. So the more brick red in your wine to mahogany, the more ages of it. Right? It turns like really dark brown, probably shouldn't drink because it's turning bad. Also, when you're tasting reds, instead of going from dry to sweet, on the reds you go from light bodied to full bodied, and then you do dessert wines at the end. Right? So the way you think about that is like think of skim milk versus whole milk. Okay. So we're going to start off with the lightest wine. We're going to head to France. We're going to head to Pays de Hérault, which is South France, right in the Mediterranean. Our first red is our Chevalier de Béarn.
Right.
That's what I call it Chevy in the backyard.
Chevy in the backyard.
Chevy in the backyard. All right, so very hot in Hérault. It's right off the Mediterranean, so your grapes can ripen up to the fullest over there. All right, this is going to be a blend of Merlot, Syrah, Grenache, Cinsault, and Carignan. Mostly Grenache. Grenache is very cherry fruit forward. All right, so when you smell this wine, you're going to get sweet cherries on it with little hints of plum. All right, also too, just a little history about this. You can see the little golden net right there. All right, that is Sir Pierre, known for his chivalry. He rides an almond-colored horse, so Chevalier de Béarn, chivalry on a horse. Yeah. All right, so this is a red wine that's not too dry, it's not too sweet, it's right in the middle. I also call this the gateway red. So like white drinkers, like, oh, reds are too harsh. Well, this is very smooth. So cherry on the nose, little hints of plum. Cherry on the taste, a little touch of plum on it. All right, but on the very finish, it is super smooth and velvety. 2018 on the vintage. You see the ruby red color in this. 11.5 on the alcohol.
Thank you.
2018.
Make sure you do your 5 S's.
I was just gonna.
Shoot it.
Just shoot,
Remind
just shoot one of
the
them.
Marauders what the 5 S's are.
Oh, yeah. So, fellow Marauders, because I was paying attention. So, the 5 S's, right? So it's the
No, come
it's the sip,
on. We just started.
the
an hour.
swirl, the sniff, the savor, and the
Sight.
sight. Yep.
Not
So-
in that order, though.
I got 'em.
I'm looking it after
Look.
it's gone.
Savor first, and then side, and.
You can still see the disc in your wine.
That's what I was checking for.
I don't know. See, what does the disc look like?
You see that, like,
Mm.
you see how
The line right
there's
there?
the line between the
This has
actual
almost a,
water, the actual
it's a
wine and
heavier alcohol
the
smell.
air. You see
Smell
it's
it?
like a little thick.
Okay.
It's got a little clearness to it.
Yeah.
Very,
So you can
very
see like a,
easy
like a
drinking
disc
red
in the
wine.
light
Oh, man.
about your eyeball.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Okay. Now I know what a disc is.
Oh, man. Did you try it yet?
I'm doing my S's in order.
What should we be pairing with this?
So you can pair this with just about anything.
Yeah.
Pair 'em
With
pieces
all
of
the grapes in it, and just because it's so smooth, it goes really well with everyday food.
Oh
So
my
think of
God.
like hamburgers, they're really good. Hot dogs with
I don't
mustard,
think we were doing
like
that.
spicy mustard's really good with this. I have a client that loves her Chevy in the backyard with nacho cheese Doritos. You can do spicy chili, so you can do spicy food with this. The best pairings with this wine, pepperoni pizza. The spicy pepperoni
We
goes
got
really
pepperoni,
well.
yeah.
I hope nobody doesn't want any more. 'Cause I want to finish that.
All right, but the best pairing with this is smoky barbecue.
Mm.
So something smoked goes really well with that really velvety finish. Yeah.
Yeah, we were doing a wine sampling at a festival, and there was a man with one of those big smoker trucks for the ribs and stuff. And I brought him a glass of wine. I said, I feel like you're gonna like this with your ribs. He's like, I don't drink red wine really. And I was like, just give it a try. And then he was like, oh dang. He's like, I did not expect that. And I'm like, that's what you get when you just give it a try with something that complements it.
Oh,
Even with
wow.
that steak,
I like
you
this.
try with a bite of that steak, it's really
You
good.
like that?
That was good.
Just
The
I
lighter
got a wine
wines
test steak
tend
though.
to be lack on flavor,
Yeah.
but this one doesn't do that
Mhm.
at all.
It's so smooth.
Yeah.
I would have thought it would.
We're gonna get to that point where I'm gonna suck all the slime out of your mouth, and then we're gonna pair it with your fillet, and that's gonna be one of the most amazing things.
Yeah,
Actually,
or Cabernet.
if anybody wants to put a fillet on their plate right now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like a half a piece. And I probably need some water.
Did you look it up? Look it up already?
Did you do it?
On the, get on the big green egg over
You
there.
did, okay.
So, and sausage.
you can be pairing it with Chevy. These are so good.
I'll just sit in the back and drink it. That's usually our wind down time. And I just, after work, it's like, you need some wine? Yes. please.
So look like you're having a pizza party, but really take a box of pepperoni for yourself.
All right, so those of you just tuning in, we just had the Chevy in the backyard, the 11.5% red. It was from South France.
From
South-
Pays de Hero.
There it is. You heard it from Wayne, the wine guy. So he's sitting there telling us. So we're about to get into our second out of 3, I believe it is.
Mhm.
So go ahead, Wayne.
So we're gonna do it an extreme change. All right. So you had the nice light red. Now we're gonna go super heavy, super big, super bold. We're gonna head to Paso Robles in California, which Paso Robles is extremely hot there. So you can ripen up your grapes to the fullest there. And then you can ferment them for a really long time, which gives this wine 13.9% on the alcohol.
Wow.
Excuse me, 14.9% on the alcohol. All right. Yeah. So
Point one makes a difference.
it does. Yeah. So this next wine is called their Deepwood Cellars History Blend. All right. So I just call this History. All right. Paso Robles is new and upcoming. They are making some fantastic wines, and they're doing some crazy blends on this one. So this is a blend of 6 grapes. All right. You have your Primitivo. So Primitivo is actually from Italy, but it's the same DNA as Red Zinfandel, say from Lodi, right? But this is actually Primitivo from Italy, right? Then it has Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, right? It has Syrah, Petit Syrah, and Tempranillo. Tempranillo is actually a Spanish grape, right? And then after they ferment this to give it that high alcohol, they age this in American oak for 14 months.
Wow.
All right, so with 14 months in American oak, it's going to be really robust. American oak's really smoky, really robust. You'll smell it right off the glass. All right, so on the nose, you'll get that robust smokiness on it. You're going to get like dried, toasted berries on it. All right, you get hints of bitter chocolate, you get hints of coffee on it. You get pepperiness to it. So this is a very complex wine. All right, and then at the very end, it's going to suck the saliva right out of your mouth. All right. So. You need to open up this wine a lot, so swirl the heck out of this wine. And you can do like little sips, swirl it, little sip, and you'll actually see the flavor change in it. Because it's so big and bold, they'll get smoother, more fruitier. Now with the steak, and this you have to do it this way. When you sip the wine, swish it in your mouth, right? And as soon as you swallow, your tongue is, the tannins are gonna be in your tongue. Your tongue is gonna dry out. As soon as it dries out, as you swallow it, take a bite of the steak, put that on your tongue, all right? What it does is actually take all the juiciness of the steak and like just put it like melt it like butter on your tongue, right? And then sip the wine right after it. This is gonna change the taste of the
All
wine.
right, let me
I
get
just
ready.
visualized the whole thing when you said it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Drink.
Yeah, sorry, man. Drink it, we got it.
You almost have like a food gasm on it. You'd be like, oh my god, it's so
It's like
good.
falling out of the chair.
Yeah, I have a story with one of my wine consultants. She loves sweet wine. I'm like, I gotta get you out of the sweet wine thing. So I went to a restaurant, got a big juicy steak, and got a Chateauneuf de Pape, which is a very rare wine from South Rhone, France. And I'm like, sip the wine. Now take a
Take a look at this, fellow marauders.
Yeah.
It's the dark stuff right there. So.
take a sip of the wine. Now put the steak in her tongue, and she melted into her chair.
I've been doing this all wrong. I forgot to do the swishing thing. I think I need to start from the beginning.
Start over again?
Just keep it coming.
And don't forget to pair it with the steak.
I'm just gonna spin this. That I have to spin the hell out of this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take this piece of
Do you normally
So remember,
drink
sip the
whites or
wine,
reds?
swish it in
Usually
your
do
mouth.
reds every night.
All right, as soon as you swallow the wine, put the steak in your tongue.
Whites in the summertime because I always want something a little bit lighter, but lately we've been stuck on reds. I just can't get enough.
So as a sommelier, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you just absolutely cringe if you see someone throwing ice cubes
Yes.
in a white wine?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Isn't that awesome?
You
Now
get the full flavor of that.
I just changed your whole life to the steak. Now you're gonna have to have red wine.
How do you
when
get
say-
through your 5S's so quickly? Like I'm just
No, when
He's just
you're,
like,
taking my time.
you're a sommelier junior like myself.
Yeah, all of a sudden you can the salt pops in your mouth.
I'll try
The
this thing.
fat just kind of bursts in your mouth. Yeah.
Hold on, it's not. Has it be in my
All right,
mouth?
do it again.
Wait.
Start
So
again. Start
take a
again.
Okay.
sip of the wine. As soon as you swallow, swish in your mouth.
Got
As soon as you swallow the wine, put the steak on your tongue.
Oh, that's a lot.
Get it ready for it. Get ready.
You got this, you
All
got
about
this.
time.
Teamwork.
Go.
Swish it in the mouth. I like gargle my wine. As soon as you swallow, get the steak, and then boom.
Listen.
Mm.
Yeah, see, it tastes everything. It's like you get
Yeah.
the full flavor. It's so good.
Yeah. If you had like with this wine, if you had like wagyu,
This is really good.
with the marbled fat,
Oh.
that will just explode in your mouth.
You cook those good, so they're very tender.
Mhm.
We got that green egg. You see about that? It'll change your love it.
So with this wine, you definitely want a piece of meat with this one.
Yes.
You want to do fatty ribeyes, fillets are good. You can even go into gamey meat. So like if you have like a lamb, a rack of lamb that has a fat cap on top of it, that fat cap is amazing with this wine.
That picanha.
Yeah.
That Brazilian
Picanha,
picanha.
it has a fat cap on it too. That was
That's my
just
favorite. Fattier.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Do that again.
It is good.
Yeah, it's like that. When you're done with your steak and when you're done with the wine, you're like, oh my god. You have like a little sliver of steak, a little bit of wine left because you just want to pair that.
What year was that one?
That is 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite so far.
Yeah. You like robust.
I'm gonna give it a 6 so it stands out.
The smell, you can smell smoke.
Yeah, it's very. It's very complex. You know, especially when you become a complex wine drinker, you look for the complexities of wine. Look for the different tastes and the different flavors.
All right, I like that one.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna come down to our final wine, but we have dessert after this. All right, we're gonna head back to Germany. All right, and it's gonna be weird because this is a German red. Germany is actually not known for their reds. Well, there is one red grape that they grow in southern Germany. It's called the Blauer Spätburgunder. It's also known as Pinot Noir. But they call it Blauer Spätburgunder. All right, so we're gonna head to the Rheinhessen. So the Rheinhessen is like one of the largest regions in Germany. It's right off the Rhine River. Just a little bit about the soil type there. It's actually red slate. So if you see red stones all over the place in the soil. This next wine is called our Graf Zoltan, or I call it the Zoltar wine.
Zoltar.
Yeah, one of my clients called it Zoltar wine. All right. This actually does not have a vintage on it, so it's going to be a collaboration of a couple of years of grapes. All right. This is also 9% on the alcohol. Now, this is made with an interesting grape. It's made with the Regent grape, which the Regent grape was actually created by the Germans to create a red grape that can withstand the cold conditions. Because your Cabernet Sauvignon can't grow there; it's too cold. Right? And it needs warm weather. So what they do is they take two Riesling hybrids. Right? They take the Müller-Thurgau and Sauvignon, right, and they crossbreed them to make a Diana grape. And they take a French grape called the Chambourchin, which is red, cross it with the Diana grape to make the Regent grape. So this, because it stems from Riesling hybrids, this actually has Riesling-like characteristics. All right, so you're gonna get like a nice sweet tart apple in this one, all right? But you also get hints of raspberries and strawberries. More of a dessert wine, right? You can get a lot of sweetness on it with a really smooth finish.
I know more about wine than I know about anything. In the world.
I still, the last one, I'm gonna say the name wrong. Some way.
Not some way.
Sommelier.
Thank
Or
you.
a psalm. You could just say
It's a
psalm.
psalm.
You're the guy that would show up at the table at the restaurant with the bottle of wine and people like, oh man, get out of here.
Depending on the restaurant, so if I go to Burns,
bottle.
I love going to Burns because I can choose some of the best deals out of the wine bottle. Yeah. And we're really aged. Like last time I got a 1983 Chateauneuf at the Pop, and it was just past its peak, so they discounted it like from like $1,000 to like $150.
Oh, to $150?
Yeah,
Oh,
because it was
wow.
about to go bad, so they need to get rid of it. Yeah.
Ooh.
And
You
it'll
got
be,
Vicky Burns?
like, oh, it's an experience.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah, she took me for my 40th. It was dope.
Oh,
So
yeah, you're gonna wanna go there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
the
absolutely.
dessert room too? Man.
Best steakhouse does at the casino.
Really?
Council
Council
Oak.
Oak.
Yeah, they dry age their steaks in Himalayan sea salt. So you see bricks of sea salt, and then just see them. Yeah, they just see the steaks
like that
hanging up there,
Yeah.
sucking all the moisture out of it.
Oh my
So you
god.
get such a flavorful, tender steak. They have a decent wine list, but Burns is the experience because you see the wine cellar.
Yeah.
It's
huge. Dessert, I'm telling you. Dessert
The
room.
kitchen.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Goodfellas. You walk through the kitchen. Yeah.
Anniversary, birthday, yeah, you're gonna wanna go there.
Where's
And
the
then
one
the
at the
dessert
casino?
room is like
Council Oak.
separate.
Council Oak, yeah, that's
Hey,
a
we're
casino.
watching. Check it out. Here's the other one. The next
I
one.
think they only open
This
after
is
4.
the German red, the Graf,
What is
9%.
Where is it close to? What's the street that it's
Burns.
It's on Howard,
Howard.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
right? It's a good dessert
Oh,
wine.
man,
Sweet.
it's good.
You pair this
Oh, wow, that's sweet.
with dark chocolate. That is by far the best pairing with this.
Move the steak.
I can't believe we used to, like, this is all we used to drink.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nothing but sweet. Wow. I didn't like the blends. I thought they were too dry or. But now it's
When
now
your
it's too
taste
sweet.
change, yeah.
Yeah, so I went to Council Oak right after when they just reopened.
Mhm.
So the butcher there was saying, they're telling him to freeze all the steaks that were aging. And he goes, some go. So they aged them for 70 days.
Mm.
And I was there, and they're like, yeah, so just let you know the steaks are actually aged for 70 days. I'm like, sign me up. Give me the biggest cowboy tomahawk ribeye. So we got that, we got a filet, and we're actually cutting through the steaks with our forks.
Oh my goodness.
Like fast.
Wow.
We didn't even need a knife on it. And we paired it with a phenomenal amarone from Pulicella, which is just melting that steak. Yeah.
They got something.
She went, it was a couple weeks
I
ago.
said, "What's a good wine?" And he's like, "Try an Amarone," and they start at $100. So I spent $180, but it's the best wine I
I was
ever
gonna say,
had.
was it worth
It was
it, right?
like 14 point something %. So we only had 2 glasses, so we took the rest corked because we were just, especially with the food, you're filling and the experience, and they have really good wine knowledge too. So he's talking to me about it, but he suggests wine to me, and I buy it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, so good.
A friend of ours owns a restaurant up north in Massachusetts, and he somehow acquired this massive wine collection. I don't even remember how exactly that happened. It was all French wine.
Oh, wow.
And so he gave us a few of the bottles for free. And so me and Michael were born in the same year, so we actually drank a bottle of wine from the year we were born.
It was a Sebastiani
75.
cab from 75.
I'm not gonna say it tasted awesome, but
So-
it was still kind of cool.
It's just the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It re-fermented. It was almost like it had fizz to it.
Yeah. It's like,
And so air must have got in at some
Mhm,
point,
yeah.
but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
It was
It
super.
wasn't.
It was super like velvety,
Yeah.
but then it did have that little bit like, oh, there's carbonation in it.
Yeah.
Well, one of them had it, yeah. Like I said, it wasn't great, but it was like, oh.
We
So,
did that.
moving on to our dessert, we're gonna head to Australia. We're gonna head to southeastern Australia. This dessert is called Golden Tango Cream. Just a little side story about it. The winemaker Bob Burton, just really big, hippie, crazy guy, loves drinking, but he loved Bailey's Irish Cream so much that he wanted to create his own, but using grapes. So this is actually brandy based, right? Made like Bailey's, but it's brandy based.
Check this out.
The best way to describe this is it's like Bailey's on steroids.
What?
So 17% on the alcohol.
Ooh. Okay, what's this called again?
Golden Tango.
Yeah, Golden Tango Cream.
17% Golden Tango Cream.
Mhm.
It's not even labeled on the bottle. I was wondering what it
Oh,
was.
well,
We lost the label on it.
Oh,
Yeah, we had a couple boxes coming.
Oh
in.
man, it smells like chocolate.
and what was the year on the graph?
The graph didn't have a year.
Didn't have a
It's
year,
a
okay.
collaboration of about 3 years.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So this one, what, you just shoot it or just sip it?
Sip it, yeah. So this is, when I was a wine consultant, I used to put this in my coffee every morning because we're actually allowed to drink at work.
What? Oh, man.
I'm in the wrong.
This is a Christmas morning. making holidays bright.
It's
delicious.
Yeah, we almost had something very similar. Remember when we went to Jamaica and was it Jamaica and they left us in the
Yeah. At the Appleton
Mhm.
distillery.
well,
Yeah.
nice.
they leave you in there with all these bottles that have as much as you can have. And there was like 8 of us for like pouring and we only had so much
Hammer
because
coming
we're
out.
like but there was one like this that we brought
This is
home
good.
to put in our coffee.
Pour it over ice cream.
Yup, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, man,
Man.
this
It's
is
very
good.
Make
nice.
a cheesecake.
Yeah, we
The
have a
first layer.
consultant that makes cheesecake out of this.
I do a Kahlua cake this weekend instead of Kahlua.
Yeah.
You can just pour this in on anything.
Martini.
Pour it on
It's
some
chocolate.
chocolate.
It's
Way
Devil's
cleaner
food,
than
just let it
Kahlua,
soak
'cause
in.
it's not nearly as thick.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about that is like if you want to make like
Yeah.
a White Russian or
This is
something,
amazing.
it's already thick.
Yeah.
That's
I
not
can
that
have
has
this
all
one
the
ice and sit
flavor
it back and
without.
sip it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so a little vodka in it, coffee liqueur, shake it up, right? And then you take a martini glass and you put some chocolate in it and you pour it right in there.
Hey, where is it? You need to y'all
I
need to
got
come
a
and hang
little
out with us more.
I got a little bit of Nestle and some
17%.
whipped cream.
Yeah. We're gonna church it up a little, put a little magic show on there.
There you go. Magic show.
Hey y'all, this one right here, I'm telling you, what is this? The Golden Tango Cream, 17% alcohol. This thing is the truth. It is. If you like Kahlua or like rum chata or something, like, no, nothing on this. This thing is the
This is better
truth.
than rum shot.
Yeah.
Way better.
We can get this 3 all too.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is
Oh, yeah.
double.
Wow.
You want the membership by yourself.
So, funny story about this is that actually the vineyard that Bob Burton owned shut down that was making this.
Mhm.
So we didn't have it for 3 years.
Oh,
All
wow.
right, so like we had, a good clientele. Or like, when's the tan come back? We don't know. So our vice president had to fly from Chicago and go to Southeastern Australia, go meet with Bob. And Bob was like, "Yeah, I just can't get a vineyard to make it. They're all making other stuff." So he gave him the recipe, and then he flew to Germany to go find someone that would do it in Germany. And then in Germany, like, we could make it, but the only problem is the laws with bottles and liquor are hard, so they had to be smaller bottles. So no, we don't want to do that. So then he flew back to Australia and convinced Bob to use one of his vineyards to make the Golden Tango Creek.
Wow.
So this is 3 years coming back.
Flying jet
Yeah.
sitting back and forth.
Oh yeah.
I say it's worth it. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is
I've never had
delicious.
anything like that.
Man, all right. 10 isn't even on the scale, but I'm gonna put it on there.
I know, that's what
I guess just for the sake of the dessert wine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really good. Super, super good.
Yeah, there's something too that you can open it up and then put the cap back on and put it in the fridge, and it'll be fine for a really long time. Actually, by accident, I leave one in my car all the time. I'm like, wonder if this is still. Oh,
By
it's still good. Still good.
Now I got hot chocolate.
Yeah. But I say fridge because don't try that.
Could you make it like a hot chocolate in the winter?
Sure. Yeah.
Warm
Just
it
pour,
up?
like you would put Bailey's in a hot chocolate. It's the same idea.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
To throw that in there.
Oh, man.
That just changed the game.
Yo, that's dessert.
Adult slushies. Mix it with your protein shake.
We also do fried.
Oh, man.
It's a great workout.
He's
He's got a broom in his hands.
supposed to drink chocolate.
We did have this idea. We bought an icy machine for the kids during the summer, and so I was sitting there, I'm like, I'm not gonna drink all this sugar. And I'm like, let's put some Malibu in there.
Man.
So we made our adult ices, and then I was thinking, I don't know if we could, but with wine, I don't know if we could freeze. Can we freeze?
Froze, yeah, you can do
Yeah.
it.
And then put it through the icing machine and make
Man.
Yeah, because there's no
Wine
carbonation.
ices.
That's the only thing that avoids you
That's what we're
being
doing
able
tomorrow.
to freeze it.
wine ices.
All right, there it is. Froze, y'all. Who knew? Who knew?
So good.
Frozen wine slushies. If you didn't know, now you know.
have those at the Biggie.
They have them at George's Wine Bar at Disney, in the Disney parks. And he actually sells corksicle containers for them, so you can walk around the park with them.
They got it
Yeah,
all.
you need to
But
drink
you can make your own now, so you got that. You got the slushy machine.
I have a slushy machine.
All
Yeah,
right.
so thank you guys for listening to me.
Yeah. Hey.
I try to make this as fun as possible. I know wine's very difficult, and what I like to do is not only again open up your mind to wine, so you feel more comfortable. If you go to the restaurant, you can be like, oh yeah, let me take the Côte d'Or because I know it's going to pair well with this food. So just for my clients, today, my clients were texting me like, hey, how long does this bottle need to open up for? Or hey, what do I need to pair this with? Hey, I'm at this restaurant. What kind of wine do I need? I'm like, just take a picture of the menu for me and we look at it. And I'll tell you what wine goes well.
Nice.
So again, thank you for listening to me.
All right, hey, let's have it for Wayne, y'all. Wayne and Christina. Hey, thank you. All right, y'all. So we sample seven,
Yeah.
including the. All right, so we won't count the Golden Tango because I'm sure it's unanimous. Everybody loves that, right? So out of the 6 that we tasted, being the Golden, the Garden Wine, the Duca, the St. Mike, the Chevy in the Backyard, the Deepwood History, and the Graf. What's everybody thinking as far as what's their top? Starting with you over there, Mike.
History.
History? Okay.
History.
All right. Christine?
Yeah, I'm gonna second that, the history.
The history?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the Chevy in the back.
Chevy in the back? Okay.
That's my favorite.
I got the history at a 6, but I gave the Golden Tango a 10. But yeah, so that was my favorite. So I like it just because it went better with the steak, and it was just like it was like a perfect mix of heavy and light. Just right there in the center. So I like that a lot. So yeah. So all right. Well, cool. So anybody got anything before we move on?
Well, just so you know, the wine is for purchase. We will ship it to your house because it actually is illegal to sell wine outside of a business. So we take orders. And like he said, they do come from Europe and we do have them shipped here. So we do sell them by the case. And you can break the cases up, 6 bottles of 2 different wines if you'd like. Mix and match. So let's say, she wants 4 and you want 2. We can just ship it to one house and everybody can pick it up. But what's great about it is that, people might think a case is a little too much, but on average, you're drinking about 2.
Never enough.
I don't have to give you that part of the skill, man. But it's great, and like you said, every vintage is going to be different. So let's say you get that case of Chevy in the back, or the history, for example, and you leave 2 for next year. You get the new vintage and you taste them. You might not like the new vintage, and you might be happy that you had the 2018
That's right,
because
exactly.
that one is that's the harvest that you enjoyed the most. So having more wines, keeping them, then trying new vintages year after year is going to help you have more complexity with what you really like, and then also learning what the differences is in the seasons, because it could be the rain, it could be the weather, it could be all sorts of different factors that change why the flavor is different.
And that's how you can build a collection as well.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
So boozing it all up.
And
Yeah.
wine doesn't go bad. So at the end of the day, you keep it there. Like, he opened the bottle of wine that said, this probably could use it 30 more years. I'm not going to open the other one.
Wow.
And I'm sure in 30 years he'll call me and be like, it's fantastic. I'm glad I waited. So whenever anybody asks, how do you get this wine? We sell it by the case. You could pick it up at the warehouse. We could ship it to you as long as it's legal in your state. And, we are constantly coming out with new wines because we have 300 in our collection, but they have over, 15,000?
No, 5,000.
5,000. I'm just big on numbers, sorry. So every year they're giving us new wines and different things to try. And as a wine client, you'll be the first ones to know about it. Email you about different opportunities we have where we do virtual wine showcases. I'm selling tickets on UNation if you're interested in that. I'm doing a wine sampling experience at Armature Works. So if you wanted to come or just enjoy with a bunch of people, I have a charcuterie girl who's going to be there. So we're constantly just doing different things. And as a client, you'll be the first ones to know about it.
Sweet.
So it's a great opportunity for you too.
All right. So where can we find PRP at?
So you can go online, PRP Wine, but if you go online, you won't get Wayne or me. So it's best to email me at cserrato@PRP Wine. You can follow us at PRP Wine Tampa on Instagram. And then we're going to leave you some information as well. Our location is right on 301, right by the Hard Rock in Tampa. So if you ever just wanted to pick up at the warehouse or stop by at the warehouse and try a little tasting real quick before you decide, we're in the office there to take care of you.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Awesome. All right. So before we go ahead and wrap it up, how about some free stuff, right? Everybody likes free stuff. So in conjunction, working with PRP Wine International and the Culture Marauders, hey, look, they laid this on us, y'all. Look, this is a free sampling experience. If you liked what you were watching and viewing and liked all the variety and stuff, they're going to up the ante. They got 8 different wines for a party of 12. And so, unfortunately, I can't do nothing about this. It's for Florida residents only, the Florida viewers, the Florida Marauders. So look, I got a way how we're going to try to get this to you. So I need you to take and name 3 of the types of wine that we tasted on this episode, the Wind Up. Tag 8 of your friends in the advertisement that I put for the free wine tasting that I put out there on Instagram and Facebook. Tag 8 friends and have them follow us. And then I'll look and we'll do a live drawing next week on the show to see who wins. And then we'll go ahead and get this gift certificate out to you so you can go ahead and get rocking, and then have Wayne and Christina come out to you, and y'all can go ahead and do it and have a good time just like we did here at the Kelly Casas. So with that being said, we're going to go around the table, final thoughts and shout outs. We'll start with the PRP team. Final thoughts and shout outs.
Well, I just hope everybody enjoyed all the wine.
Yeah,
Enjoyed
yeah.
the talking. Yeah.
I think we should do it again just to make sure we really enjoy it.
Right up until like we didn't have it.
Definitely. So, all right. You guys got shout outs?
Oh.
Go ahead.
Fantastic wine. Thank you both so much. Didn't realize how much I'd like white wine, but that garden wine was for sure nice and easy drinking on a 93 degree day like we're having right now.
Yeah.
All right. Christine, what you got?
Well, drinking wine is like my favorite thing to do. So
She was like, why
So
not?
I actually learned something while I was enjoying. So yeah, this is super fun. I would definitely do this at a party. This is great. Yeah.
All right. What you got?
I loved it. I didn't get enough. I can't remember what it tasted like for the Duca and the Chevy in the back, so I think I need a bigger glass.
Great.
I need a refresher.
Refresh my memory.
Oh yeah, but I love wine. So yeah, so are we signing up so we can
Sure. Why not another wine club? Why not?
So it's not a subscription. It's not a membership like a club.
Okay.
You order at your leisure.
Oh, sweet.
I know that you have a case. I know you drink wine, so in a couple weeks I'm probably going to call you anyways.
All right.
Because I'm like, they're going to need some more wine.
You're
But
probably right.
at your leisure, you give us a call, or you're going to have another party, you're going to have another podcast and invite people over. You order as you need, always by the case though. That's just the
And
only
I could do 6. How many were in the
6
case?
and 6 in a case. So you could do the Chevy of 6, and you could do the Duca of 6, and that's your case.
Nice.
And the Tangos come in 6 too.
Oh, bro.
You
Oh,
can
there it
speak
is.
you for as long
As long as you want.
I do have one shout out. My grandma's in the hospital. I just wish her luck, and she's doing well. I got to talk to her today. She's 90 years old, and she is still pushing through and strong. And she was just upset that the food that they keep giving her, beans and chili. She wanted better food, and she wasn't able to watch her soap operas in the hospital. But other than that, she was doing really well.
All right, get well, Grandma. Hey, so as usual, the wrap up for me is, hey, I want to thank the PRP Wine International team, Wayne and Christina, for coming out, and Michael and Christine for coming out as well. Yeah, that's right, for coming out as well, and of course my wife, Karina over here, Rina, and just everybody for following. Like I said, we're coming up to the end of the season. It's been a huge learning experience, but a lot of fun, a lot of good stories, and I appreciate the time that people have given, lending me their stories and their experiences. So one more week to go, and then we're gonna close it up. But in the meanwhile, I'd like to thank the healthcare workers out there, the doctors, the nurses, public health, the public health professionals out there still doing the job, going in, as well as, the sanitation workers, the unsung heroes out there in the world, the people that we kind of forget about. And then also the teachers, you're in the middle of a tough spot, with this going back to school. We don't know if it's gonna work, but we're gonna give it a shot. So we support you, and we try to do the right thing by you. And also the students, the cats going into their senior year and the kids going into high school, and it's just a change. Our youngest is starting kindergarten. It's going to be looking a little different for him this year, but we're going to push through. Also, the military members out there, from two, former military members, still support you, still appreciate y'all going out there doing the work, going overseas, taking care of the mission, and just taking care of us. Y'all doing what you do so we can do what we do. So thank you, and we appreciate y'all. And then with that being said, hey, you guys got something you want to maraud on? Like I said, this is wine. This is just, off the top of the dome, and reached out to Christina, and, she made this happen. So yeah, we can talk about anything on this show. So like I said before, if you want to follow us on Instagram, hit us up at _culture_marauders, or on Facebook at The Culture Marauders. And then email us at theculturemarauders.com. We got a lot of big things coming up here. Once we wrap up, we hit y'all back up in the fall. We'll be like White Clef, be gone till November. So we'll be back. We'll have a good time. And I'm telling you, big things are coming. So keep your eyes peeled, keep your head above water, and we're going to see what's happening. But also, get out and vote. Regardless of who you're voting for, get out there and cast that vote, because that is one of your rights. And you need to take advantage of it and cast your vote and try to make a difference. So with that being said, we sign off with our tagline: one culture, one blood, one love. From the Culture Marauders crew and the PRP team, peace.
Wow.